Hello dear kids, welcome back to the social science class, and today we are going to learn a new chapter from history, that is the Mughal Empire. So let us have a look into the mind map. The Mughals, these are the kings: Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. And we will learn about the Mughal administration, administrative officials, and also Ibadat Khana. Okay, and at the end, decline of Mughal Empire. So, in this chapter, we are going to discuss how the Mughals established their empire in India, and about the Mughal rulers and the policies followed by the Mughals, and administrative and religious policies, and also why the might Mughal Empire declined. So let us learn the Mughals. The Mughals claim to be the descendants of Genghis Khan, the ruler of Mongol tribes of China and Central Asia, from their mother side. From their father's side, they were fifth generation descendants of Timur, who had attacked Delhi in 1398. And remember, the name Mughal was derived from the word Mongol. Mughal was derived from Mongol. Please learn this word. And the Mughals followed the Timurid tradition of succession, in which the inheritance of the throne was shared among brothers. That means from their father's side. And this always left room for conflict among the brothers who were keen to rule the Mughal Empire. And there were many references of rebellion by the Mughal princes in the contemporary accounts left by the historians. And now we are moving to the first king of the Mughal Emperor or the Mughal Empire, that is Babur. Babur, the first Mughal emperor, was thrown out of his hometown by Uzbeks. Babur, the first Mughal emperor, was thrown out of his hometown by Uzbeks, and he carved out a fresh territory for himself in Kabul in 1504. Then to the unstable political situation in India after Sikandar Lodi's death, and invitations from Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, encouraged Babur to attack India. And at the first battle of Panipat in 1526, remember, first battle of Panipat was in 1526, and in this battle Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, the Sultan of Delhi, and established Mughal rule in India. So who established Mughal rule in India? Babur established Mughal rule in India by defeating Ibrahim Lodi, the Sultan of Delhi, in Panipat, the first battle of Panipat in 1526. Clear? And he also defeated Rana Sangha of Mewar, Rajputs at Chanderi. All these helped Babur to lay the foundation of an all-India empire. And now we are going to learn about the most important Mughal rulers. They were Babur, as we said now, then Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. So now we are moving to Humayun. Humayun is the son of Babur. After Babur's death, Humayun succeeded his father, that is Babur, in 1530. Then to sustain imperial power, Humayun had to fight against the Afghans both in the east and west. At the same time, he had to face hostilities from his own brothers, which weakened his cause against the Afghans. Okay. Then the Afghans united under the leadership of Sher Khan, who was popularly known as Sher Shah Sur. Okay, Sher Khan is also known as what? He is also popularly known as Sher Shah Sur. Okay. Then Sher Khan ruled from Sasaram in modern day Bihar. Sher Khan defeated Humayun first at the Battle of Chausa in 1539. Remember the date? The first battle of Chausa was in 1539, and then Kanauj, another one battle, that is in 1540. Then what happened to Humayun? Humayun fled from India and sought refuge in Persia. Then his land revenue policy became the basis of later Mughal land revenue system, when with the help of the Persian king Shah Tamas, Humayun conquered Kabul and Kandahar and captured Delhi and Agra. And he re-established the Mughal rule in 1555, but unfortunately he died in 1556, just 1 year, leaving behind his minor son Akbar. And now we are going to learn about the most powerful king, that is Akbar, the son of Humayun. Two major sources which provide information about Akbar's period are Akbarnama and Ain-i Akbari. Okay, written by Abul Fazl. We have learned it in the first chapter, right? And one of the 9 jewels. Okay, Abul Fazl was one of the 9 jewels, that is Navaratnas of Akbar's court. The first volume of Akbarnama dealt with Akbar's ancestors, and the second volume recorded the events of Akbar's reign. Its concluding portion consists of an account of Akbar's administration, agrarian system, and the empire, and is known as Ain-i Akbari. Okay. And it also provides rich statistical details of crops, yields, prices, wages, and revenues. And dear kids, Akbar was only 13 years old at the time of Humayun's death, his father. He was just 13. After his coronation in 1556 CE, his tutor, Bayram Khan, who is the daughter of Akbar, Bayram Khan, took over as regent. He became the Wakil. Wakil means lawyer. So he became the Wakil of the kingdom with the title of Khani Khanan. And he became powerful while ruling in Akbar's name. And one of the major achievements of his regency period was the defeat of Hemu, the Wazir of the Sur dynasty, and the Afghan forces in the second battle of Panipat in 1556, who posed a serious threat to the Mughal Empire. And let us see the expansion policy. At first, expansion policy of Akbar. At first, Akbar took steps to end the conflict within the nobility. Okay, and he suppressed the revolt of his half-brother Mirza Hakim, the governor of Kabul, and the Uzbeks, who were unhappy with Akbar's growing stature. And then who was unhappy with Akbar's growing stature. Then Akbar embarked on an expansionist policy. He entered into conflicts with different powers like Rajputs in Rajputana, Afghans in Gujarat, Bihar, Bengal, and the Deccan kingdoms like Bijapur, Golconda, and Ahmednagar. And here we have to think one more thing, that is the relationship between Akbar and Rajputs. Akbar knew that to have a stable empire, he must control the large territories under Rajput kings in the neighboring region of Rajputana. So Akbar tried to win over the Rajputs whenever possible and included Rajput kings into Mughal service. He treated them at par with Mughal nobility by marrying Jodhabai, daughter of Raja Bihari Mal of Jaipur in 1562. Akbar displayed a secular policy towards Hindus, and many Rajput kings helped Akbar in expanding and consolidating the Mughal Empire. This became possible because Akbar recognized their traditional ruling areas such as Wad and Jahangir, and they were given additional Jagirs outside Rajasthan. Battle with Rana Pratap. The only Rajput king who stood against Akbar was Rana Pratap. Remember, only one Rajput king who stood against Akbar was Rana Pratap, the ruler of Mewar, and his son, his son Amar Singh. Okay. And Akbar captured Chittor in 1568 and Ranthambore in 1569. The famous battle of Haldi Ghati was fought between the Mughal and Rana Pratap in 1576 near Gogundo or Haldi Ghati. And the Mughal army was led by Man Singh of Amber. Rana Pratap Singh, despite all efforts by Akbar, did not submit. And the next king, that is Jahangir. Jahangir, obviously, the son of Akbar, came to the throne after Akbar's death in 1605 CE. He was known for his impartial justice to his people, irrespective of their religious faith. He continued his father's policy and earned respect from all spheres of the society. And Mughal rule under Jahangir was noted for political stability, brisk economic activity, beautiful paintings, and monumental buildings. By the beginning of the 17th century, the Mughal Empire had acquired unparalleled military strength and economic prosperity. And during Jahangir's time, European traders had started coming to India. Remember, during the time of Jahangir, European traders had started coming to India. In 1608, Captain William Hawkins, a representative of the East India Company, came to Jahangir's court. And the first ambassador to the Mughal court was Sir Thomas Rao, who came in 1615. Okay, and we are moving to the next, Shah Jahan, very famous. After his father's death, who is the father of Shah Jahan? Jahangir. Prince Khurram ascended the throne in 1625. So after his father's death, Shah Jahan or Prince Khurram ascended the throne in 1628. He faced two major revolts during the early parts of his rule by Khan Jahan Lodi and by Judhar Singh of Bundelkhand. There was a famine and plague in large parts of Gujarat, then Khandesh and Deccan, in which thousands of people died during the reign of Shah Jahan. Abul Hamid Lahori described in his accounts the strategies adopted by Shah Jahan to control situations of famine and plague. So it is described in Abul Hamid Lahori's accounts. Shah Jahan shifted the capital of Mughal Empire from Agra to Delhi and ruled from the Red Fort, Lal Quilla. Okay, you must have visited it. And the last, Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, the next Mughal ruler, had 3 rival brothers. So his accession to the throne was not so smooth, since he had 3 rival brothers. He killed his brothers, imprisoned his father Shah Jahan, and crowned himself at Delhi, assuming the title of Alamgir. And he ruled for 50 years. He ruled for 50 years till his death in February 1707 in Ahmednagar. Then during his reign, Aurangzeb was able to annex Bijapur and Golconda. The last 26 years of his life were full of conflicts in the Deccan and North India. Under his rule, the borders of the Mughal Empire spread out further than even before. But it was difficult to hold the empire together. He had to face rebellions from the Marathas under Shivaji, the Sikhs, the Jats, and the Satnamis. Though he ruled longer than any of his predecessors, he could not stop the decline of Mughal Empire. A war of succession also followed his death. Aurangzeb, though he gave many grants for the restoration of Hindu temples, but he was also famous for his tyranny against the Hindus. He reintroduced jizya or tax on the Hindus and demolished many temples, especially in politically volatile regions. And now we are moving to the next, that is Mughal administration. So, Mughal administration and administrative officials. Here you can have a look. All the important administrative officials. I can read it out. Diwani Kul. The first one, he is the chief Diwan. And the next is, Diwan means ministers. Okay. And the next is Mir Bakshi. Mir Bakshi is the in charge of the military. And the third, Mir Saman, officer in charge of the royal Karkhanas. You know what is Karkhanas? Karkhana means manufacturing institution. It was there during Delhi Sultanate and also in Mughal Empire. And the next is Sadarus Sudai. He protected the laws. And Qasi ul Khusat, head of the judiciary. He is the head of the judiciary. And next is Sabadar. Sabadar, the governor of a Sabha. And Subadar, the governor of a Subha. And Sadar, religious and charitable patronage. It is known as Sadar. And Faujdas, the next is Faujdas, military commanders are known as Faujdas. And Kotwal. Kotwal is known, who is the Kotwal? Kotwal means police commander. And let us see how they have done their administrative policies. The office of the Diwan was strengthened under Akbar. The chief Diwan, that is Diwani Kul, was made responsible for revenue and finance. Okay. And his primary was made responsible for revenue and finance. His primary duty was to supervise the imperial treasury and to check all accounts. The duty of Diwani Kul was to supervise the imperial treasury and to check all accounts. The entire revenue collection and expenditure machinery of the empire was under his charge. To check the Diwan's power, the Mughal emperor would ask the Diwan to submit a report on state finances daily. State finances daily. The Mir Bakshi, the next Mir Bakshi, was in charge of the military. Who is in charge of military? Mir Bakshi. He passed all orders of appointments of Mansabdars, and their salary papers were endorsed by him. And he personally supervised the branding of the horses called Dag and checked the muster roll called Chera, of the soldiers. And he was assisted by other Bakshis. The Mir Saman, next, officer in charge of the royal Karkhanas. The Mir Saman was the officer in charge of the royal Karkhanas who supervised the purchase of all kinds of articles and their storage for the royal household and the manufacture of different articles, be it weapons of war or articles of luxury. And the next, the Sadarus Sudar protected the laws of chariots, while the head of the judiciary was known as Kwasiul Kwasat. And the next is the governor of Suba, that is Subedar, was directly appointed by the emperor. Usually the tenure of Subedar was around 3 years. And he looked after the welfare of the people and the army and maintained law and order in the Suba. And he was assisted by Bakshi, the military paymaster, the minister in charge of religious and charitable patronage, that is Sadar, and military commanders, that is Faujdas, and also the police commanders, that is Kotwal. And the finances were taken care of by the Diwan at the central level. And we are going to learn an important point now, that is Ibadat Khana. Remember the word Ibadat Khana. What is Ibadat Khana? Akbar had built the new capital of the Mughal Empire at Fatehpur Sikri. It is in Agra. He sponsored a series of debates at his court between the representatives of various religions, which included Hindus, Christians, Zoroastrians and Jains. So for these debates, he built Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana means it's a hall of prayer at Fatehpur Sikri. And he took keen interest in the religion and social customs of different people. And he conceived the idea of Sulekul. Sulekul means universal peace, which was secular in outlook and did not discriminate between people of different religions. Clear? And here you can have a look into the map, the Mughal Empire under Akbar. Please learn this map for the examination. And all this area, orange in color, empire under Akbar. Here you can see the main cities, Peshawar, Kandahar, then Panipat, Agra, and Awadh. Here Chittor, Banaras, Allahabad, Bengal and Khandesh. All these are the main cities under the empire of Akbar. You have to learn it very well, and it is there in the textbook too. And here we are going to discuss about the decline of the Mughal Empire and these are the main points. 7 reasons are there. Please learn it well. Here are reasons for the decline of the Mughal Empire. The first reason was the scale of revenue collection left very little in the hands of peasants and artisans. Okay, the scale of revenue collection was very less, and they could hardly save money to invest in buying tools to increase productivity. The first thing. And the second, Jagirdari system. Okay, the taxation system. The Jagirdari system began to lose its efficiency. The Jagirdars began to extract revenue from the peasantry to the maximum. Okay, so the peasants revolted against the Mughals. So this is the second point. And the third, corruption among the Jagirs. Third one. And the fourth, factionalism, division among the group. Factionalism among nobility after the death of Aurangzeb. And Nadir Shah's invasion in 1739 also led to the decline of Mughal Empire. And sixth, incapability of the rulers. We are not talking about the Akbars, but the later. Incapability of the later rulers. And the seventh one, military regiment was not given proper care. So these are the 7 points behind the decline of the Mughal Empire. So when the power of the Mughal declined, these Mughal governors emerged of power in the region. Although many of them continued to recognize the Mughal emperor in Delhi as their sovereign, they held autonomous command of provinces like Awadh, Hyderabad, etc. And by the beginning of the 18th century, the various regional provinces of the Mughal Empire had consolidated their independent political identities. And dear kids, here I am giving you a project work, and Akbar was only 13 years old when he became a ruler, right? And how old are you? Okay, now you read more about Akbar as a boy and how he ruled the kingdom. Then imagine yourself in Akbar's shoes and write what you would have done had you inherited the throne at such a young age. Okay, write your views in 200 words and submit it in your class mail ID. Okay, take care, bye bye.